Just tell the truth, hit the mark, say like, just say it like you mean it, but mean it. And then someone's gonna know you meant it, and it's gonna connect with that part of them that wants to speak the truth, and at least hear someone else speak the truth and go, yeah, what he said. That's how I feel.
Filmmaker Magazine presents Back to One with Peter Rinaldi.
Kevin Corrigan is an actor. He sat down with me at the White Horse Tavern in New York City to talk about the work.
It's been 396 days since we last sat down together. Is there one thing that you can talk about to start out with that you feel has impacted your work somehow? Some event, some moment?
Getting hired has impacted my work.
What was this experience like you just came back from?
Pretty good. It's a pretty good job.
You were away a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the longest I've been away. I know actors who've been away twice as long, and maybe like 6 months in Australia or something unfathomable to me. Like that would be,
Yeah.
going that far away for that long. I just did this. This was maybe like half of that, not all the way on the other side of the planet,
Yeah.
but Vancouver.
Yeah.
And things have a way of changing. Life has a way of moving on without you, and things change in 3 days. Things can change a lot now.
That's right.
I'm Olivia, by the way.
That honker is really getting to me, and I think it would under normal circumstances, not just because of COVID. I would be
Yes.
like, what are you doing? Eugene Merman has a great bit in like a 10-year-old bit, or if not older than that, maybe his first album, about people coughing. Because we have, when people sneeze, we say Gesundheit. We have things that we say, but what do you say when someone coughs? What if someone's going, stop that? That was his idea.
It is a weird thing when somebody sneezes now inside. You feel like you need to protect that person. They're going to be rushed. They're going to be attacked.
Mm-hmm.
You feel this certain protection of them, but you also feel like they just did something to you too, though. Like you want to protect them from the mob.
Yeah.
But the mob has a point with them.
I'm remembering a kind of a scary moment years ago, 10 years ago. I was playing music with somebody. We were in Midtown. After our practice, we bought like some souvlaki on the street or something, like a shish kebabs or whatever.
Yeah.
On the, on 23rd and 6th or something,
Yeah.
And we would go up, and the area where you would order the food was about at like the level of your head. I'm using my hands to indicate like
in neck height.
It's just a big enough hole to pass the money on to the guy ordering your food, and there's some salt and stuff like this, so you could do a little bit of put the condiments to your food or whatever, and then there's one person behind you waiting to order something too, and you're on the corner of 6th and 23rd, and it was summer, so this guy ahead of my friends was kind of finishing up his order. Like he had been there before us. He was getting his order right as my friend was placing his.
Yeah.
And my friend is kind of like, so yeah, let me get a chicken and a
white sauce.
Yeah, and he's putting his face right in the thing.
Yeah.
And the guy next to him goes, "Yo, bro, you're breathing on my food." and this guy looked like he was gonna like resort to physical violence to process the moment. He was really offended and that someone was breathing on his food. It's like being at a pizzeria, and someone goes, "Yo, you're breathing on my food." It's like,
you're not
we're on the corner.
Yeah, exactly. You're not in the
23rd and 6th, and it's like, but I was like, take it easy. Take it easy. What are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking beat this guy up? Because you think, what kind of germ freak are you?
Yeah.
It's fine.
23rd and 6th. You got pigeons all around.
And it was it didn't escalate.
Yeah.
This guy was
because your friend wasn't the type of person that took that kind of thing and ran with it in a bad way, right? He let it go.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
He was not from New York.
Yeah.
But he had lived in New York and worked in New York enough to, he got through.
Yeah.
He kind of navigated, with some stealth and some kind of like, no, you're right. I'm just sorry.
There you go.
But this other guy was like, "Yo, I'm gonna fuck you up, man." It's like, damn, man. What are you afraid? You're gonna catch something? So now everyone is like that.
Right.
But I thought, I wonder what happened to that guy.
Yeah.
Who got so upset about about that his hot dog was gonna get breathed on by a stranger, and I wonder if that guy is now maybe ironically against vaccines. You know what I mean? Fuck that
sense.
shit, man. No one's going to tell me.
Ironically, he would be that guy, right?
Possibly.
Yeah.
If I'm going to say, that guy was just probably he could have been packing,
Yeah.
And so anyway.
Yeah, you answer him wrong. You're in a situation in New York.
Yeah.
On 23rd and 6th. You answer him wrong, you have an experience happening then.
I mean, it was kind of.
Have the hamburger here?
Yes, that's for me. Yes. Oh, that looks wonderful. Look at this. Look at this. Thank you. Wow. Oh, we really want you to have a fry if you'd like one. No, wait.
I'm thinking of Jack Nicholson in The Last Detail when he sends the hamburger back. He sends Randy Quaid's hamburger back because Randy Quaid says, what's the matter, Meadows? I didn't melt the cheese on my hamburger. He goes, "Excuse me, ma'am," and Nicholson gives the plate. He says, "Melt the cheese on that, will you?" It's like, you see, Meadows, you got to get what you want. It's not hard. Just tell her you want the cheese melted on your hamburger. You don't have to settle for, less than what you've asked for. Anyway.
Did that come before or after 5 Easy Pieces?
After.
Of course it did.
Not long
because
after.
That's like a diner, you have Nicholson interacting with a waitress. You can't not think of 5 Easy Pieces, right?
That's right. That's right.
I
wonder if they just put that scene in The Last Detail. So we got to have a scene where Jack, has some kind of restaurant.
Yeah.
Rebellion. Let him have his moment in the diner or something. Diner. Speaking of Diner, I was looking at a picture of the cast of Diner. Yeah, a friend of mine sent me a picture of Ellen Barkin. I guess he had. It was right before she. It's while Daniel Stern is thrusting singles at her, going, "Go ahead, pick a song, pick a record, any record," and then ask me what the date is on it or what the label is, or
Yeah.
and she's apprehensive. So he sent me a picture of that, and I don't know why particularly, but it was fine with me because I'm into lately those moments with actors where you can like for example, I'm drawing a lot, so this
I'm loving your drawings.
Thank you. And I was working on something of a portrait of Adrian Shelley. Someone said you should do one of Edie Falco from the same movie. I said, yeah, you're right. I forgot. Yeah, she's terrific in that. And I know exactly what I would do. It would be the scene where her sister is interviewing her about abortion, and Edie's character is saying, I had one when I was 17 or something. I don't know if you know the scene.
No.
But then her sister, Maria, Adrian Shelley, is saying, would you do the same thing now or something? Or I can't remember exactly. Or did you think about it then? And the character says, no. Who's that careful when they're a teenager, when they're 17? I wasn't. But there is this very subtle moment that Edie has. You see it in her eyes. It's like the character tries to play out like,
Right.
it was it wasn't like a great moment, but you go on.
Yeah.
But you can see that she hasn't gone on.
And you want to pause it on that moment.
On that moment,
and that's what you want to draw.
I love those
That's
moments.
So cool.
Sometimes I'll rent the movie. I'll go to the scene.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And then go through it second by second. Because a lot of stuff happens on an actor's face in just 5 seconds or 5 frames.
Right.
And I try to pause
That's
it
so cool.
right on the moment where I, as an audience member, feel
Right.
emotional, a connection with the performance.
Yeah.
It was at this moment. This is it, and that's what I want to draw. Or as an actor, maybe like that's the emotion I want to play.
Yes.
I want to get a part like that. I want to read a script like that.
Yeah.
And play that emotion.
But do you ever see something like that where you can't understand how they even did it? You can't even figure out how they landed on that moment.
I think maybe some actors don't even wait for the script to give them that moment. They create that moment. I found like a really good situation. I created a really good situation in the apartment I was staying in, where I could put up a new project every other day. I did 8 drawings in a month.
Wow.
And then I wanted to do in the following month 10 if I could,
Yeah.
And I have my list of portraits I want.
You already got them
that I really want
out,
and can't wait to get into.
Wow.
Because I feel like I'm spending time with that person.
Yeah.
Like I really feel like if I draw someone I'm in the room with them, even if no matter who it is. You know? I did a picture of myself with Ray Liotta from Goodfellas. And I thought, I wonder if this counts as a self-portrait, or if I wanted to make prints of this and sell it, or put it in a book, would I need to get the rights to it? I'm sure I would. It's the property of Warner Brothers or whatever, because it's from Goodfellas. But it's me.
That's funny,
it's a
right?
self-portrait, isn't it?
That's funny.
And if it isn't, it's enough to. When I was there, I remember.
Right.
I remember.
Can an actor draw themselves and is that allowed?
That's right. I mean,
From a movie?
but when I want to draw, like a picture of, whoever it is. This is Sue Tissue, in the moment in Something Wild When. I want to draw that to. I find that sometimes every line, every wrinkle, is vital to the story the actor's telling, and sometimes you try to watch like a scene from a rerun of a boxing match, where Ali or somebody knocks out Foreman, and you're like, wait, go back. I didn't even see it. It's like his right hand. You didn't see.
Right.
It's like, like Brando says about Jersey Joe Wolcott. You don't know if he's gonna. You just don't know where the punch is coming from. It's either you don't know whether it's coming from the southwest or from the northeast. It's like you don't see it happen. All you see is like the opponent going down, hitting the canvas. It's like, whoa, man. And that's the way acting is, with you don't know the microsecond that it is that the performance breaks your heart.
Yes.
For example, the Ellen Barkin in Diner, when Daniel Stern, they get into that argument, and he says that really hurtful thing to her about, when I met you that night I met you, Ain't That a Shame was playing when I walked in the door, and I was like, oh man, that's so. It's cold, but that's not what's heartbreaking is her when they cut back to her, she gulps. That's what it is. It's like, oh my god.
It's like the punctuation on the moment, right? It's like that.
You have a visceral reaction to it because you know it's a real moment that the actor's having, because you've had that moment.
Right.
And you see the muscles that are being used to express that moment, and it's
That's right. It makes you remember all of your moments.
The actor's body speaks to your body. I guess that's what visceral means. That's what I always thought about. But it's like,
because you're so responsive, Kevin, because you're so in awe of these moments, because you're so in tune to them, because you keep responding to them, how does that not become almost paralyzing when you have to act yourself? Like, there must be this instinct that, I remember Ellen Barkin doing this, just like this moment that I have to do right now, and I remember her doing this, and I remember Jack Nicholson doing this in this moment. How do you not resort to mimicry and just get caught up in that? You're not alive, you're not in the moment. It almost makes me envy people that aren't as enamored by moments like this.
Or so-called non-actors.
Exactly. Yes.
For the seasoned actor to return to the state of the non-actor is, I don't know, the actors who I think know better than I do, but maybe not. we were rehearsing a scene in this thing I just worked on.
Yeah.
And it's me and two other actors. And we actually got along well. We had dinner together. And we had fun working together and had fun just sort of blocking the scene and talking about the scene. And yeah, like, isn't this great? We're actually getting to talk about the dynamics here. It feels almost like a luxury sometimes to get to rehearse.
Right.
Or even just to talk, about the scene before you do it. You do have to talk a little bit about it, to block it. But we were almost kind of able to even like personalize it, or to sort of just blaze a trail through the technical stuff.
Yeah.
And then you take one and it sucks, it's just like stiff.
Yeah.
It's like, and I find myself just, what was all that talking about?
Why did we do that?
What a bunch of blowhards, just act. And I'm kind of just fall back in my chair,
Yeah.
And I try to be sitting in a chair all the time, so that I can just not have to walk around too much physical. I don't like to have too much business. I'm bad acting that way. But the camera person will say, "Are you going to be seated back like that now?"
Oh yeah, because you can be out of focus if you're
when we did it
leaning
just
in.
now. You were kind
leaning
of
in, yeah.
you were leaning into it. I'm like, I think maybe that was the problem.
Oh,
That I was sitting forward, like I was
it's a totally different
making
attitude.
this active choice to be leaning forward. I feel much better now, actually. Like the way I'm seated
that
now,
is, right? And changes so much. Yes.
Like I can breathe this way.
Right.
And they said that's fine with us. I do just have to move the camera over a little bit, but if you're comfortable that way, we can adjust. I'm like, I think I want to do it this way. I feel so much more relaxed, like I think I can say the lines and they'll be coming from a more natural place, and it'd be great if you could make that adjustment. I should have found this position initially.
Yeah.
You kind of break it in. It's like and then you do take two, and that stinks also. But it's going in a better direction. Mm-hmm. And then you do take three, and it's like, all right, we're getting somewhere. This isn't a low budget movie, where we only have two takes,
Right.
When you hear about like Stanley Kubrick, or when I hear about stories like
40 takes,
40 or 80 takes, who gets that many chances to act? The result of that performance, where the actor's been made to do 80 takes, or has if they in a position to demand that many takes, what the performance is like, compared to someone who only gets one take.
Right. And another question on that is, when you possibly can have 80 takes, how does that change you? Whereas like with Fassbender or somebody, where it's one take, and you only have one take, and you're not going to get another take no matter what happens, which apparently was Fassbender. How does that change you?
I say it was a good job because, what was good about it was the table reads. which were all remote, digital or Zoom meetings, were to me like radio plays, like because I would cover the screen. I don't like to to see the Brady Bunch kind of formatting, where you can see all the different actors in their apartments.
Right.
And some people put a lot of thought into their
backgrounds,
their backgrounds and stuff, and I do too. But the reason I have to cover the screen is because I can't stop like checking my hair, and it's like that's not what it's about. But I can't veer away. I can't stop doing that. I can't stop looking at myself.
Right.
Or other people.
We need to talk about Get Back. We need to talk about Get Back.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Can I please have 1 minute to tell you my thing?
Yes.
I am shocked that people are saying, this exonerates Yoko Ono. This exonerates Yoko Ono. To me, I have never been more sure that Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles than after I watched the 8 hours of Get Back. And let me tell you why. You get to see that George is finally stepping up and speaking out, because there is this rift with what I'm going to call the battery. Lennon, McCartney. There is a rift. There is a rift in this powerful dynamic that George just had to be a part of all these years. The rift is Yoko Ono, and that gives more agency to George Harrison. It makes him want to speak up more because the battery isn't as powerful anymore.
Yeah.
He's able to now speak up. He's able to throw his tantrums and everything, and everybody's got to. Whereas before, that didn't happen as much because he wouldn't dare do it against the battery of Lennon, McCartney. Talk to me.
Well, I'm glad you stopped talking because I was going to cut you off. I couldn't disagree more.
Oh.
If that's what you got out of watching Get Back.
No, it's only one aspect. No, absolutely not. I loved every moment of it. No.
Well, I'm not saying you didn't love it.
This was the big revelation. Yes, this was the big revelation.
I don't. My take on it, and I couldn't possibly, say everything I want to say about Get Back in one conversation. The movie was made to inspire millions of conversations for years to come.
Yes.
But I think what I've started to tell people about it, if they haven't seen it, and they're like, I'm going to watch it, I'm like, it's going to be worth it, I say, to watch it all. Like it's like that movie about Philippe Petit, the wire walker.
Man on the Wire.
Man on Wire. It's surprised in a way that no one's drawn that comparison.
Interesting. Why?
It's because you're there from the beginning of the plan. And
interesting.
you don't know. They don't know if it's going to work.
Right. You know it though. That's the interesting.
Well,
yeah, right. You know it really. You know it so much because you know what the end result is.
No, you don't.
But I mean, you do now. What do you mean? As an audience member.
Well, the reason the movie works is because you don't know. Once you start to get into the experience of Peter Jackson's movie, you forget that you know what happens.
Oh, interesting.
At the end.
Okay, yes. Okay. It's almost like you suspend your disbelief of them.
If you stay with the movie moment by moment.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Which I didn't really. I found that it was so comprehensive. Even though at 6 hours or 7 hours, it's still a fraction of the footage that was shot.
Yeah.
There's a book called Revolution in the Head. One of the best Beatle books. It's and the way I think Ian MacDonald, the author of that, the way he cuts up the book is in 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is going up. Chapter 2 is the top. Chapter 3 is coming down. and the thesis of chapter 3 is that the Beatles couldn't come down from the heights they reached. And that's partly what caused the crisis.
Interesting.
And you can see them in Get Back, they never, people were always breaking their balls. People were always undercutting them, trying to block them, saying that they were, never going to make it. And even after they were successful, they just were always trying to tear them down. They were always kind of embattled, in a way. As successful as they were, there was also this cross current of, this lateral force that would come along, and they always had to answer for themselves, even from other musicians too,
Yeah.
Lennon had an inferiority complex straight through the whole 10 years that they were together, it was kind of a manic back and forth between total confidence and total lack of it, and because I'm a good guitar player. I mean, I'm not the best, but I'm pretty good at what I do. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the greatest guitar player in the world, but some people think I'm okay at guitar. Ask Eric Clapton what he thinks of me. It's just you give me anything and I'll play. It's a line from The Departed where Jack Nicholson says, that John Lennon? He goes, oh yeah, he's the president after Lincoln. He said, I'm an artist. You give me a tuba and I get a sound out of it, or I can make something out of it. So they're really not that different in 1969 from the boys they were.
Right.
10 years earlier.
Right.
They never had a chance to sit back and appreciate what they achieved.
Yeah.
And they couldn't exhale. I think that's why they broke up, was that they needed to be able to not be the Beatles for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that being talked about that toward the end, where they were like, well, I'd like to do something on my own for a little while and do, and
right.
Each one of them were talking about,
which is a sensible,
kissed it,
kind of,
right? I mean, that was
let them do solo albums,
and then work back.
Yeah, it was.
That might have worked, really, though. If they just did that after they got this out of their system, they liked each other too much.
Yeah, it would have been great if there was a Get Back version of Revolver.
Yeah,
that would have been.
I was thinking about that, or even the White Album or something.
The White Album or something.
Yeah,
would have been great. But this is probably what it was like then too.
Yeah,
it was probably I think Lennon was right when he said that, even the biggest Beatle fan couldn't sit through 30 hours of the shit that we recorded in January of '69. It was just hard, but I also think that their memories of those times were shaped by the movies. Just like everyone else.
Yes.
It's like you hear Marlon Brando talk about On the Waterfront, and he's like anyone could have. It's an actor-proof role, and it would have been. It would have pulled the heartstrings, no matter who played the part, because everyone thinks they could have been a contender. That's why it was so moving, and I think he's wrong. I don't think anyone could have made it
No.
maybe, I don't know.
Think about other people from that time. Think about other people. Think about who, you know what I mean? They don't have that macho-ness that's necessary and the vulnerability at the same exact time. No.
Yeah. I want to get back and Yoko.
Yeah, come on.
I went to see a Yoko Ono exhibit in Vancouver. The same show that she had in the Indica Gallery in London in 1966 was up in the Vancouver Art Gallery.
Wow.
And it's still up. It's up through, I think, May of 2022.
Wow.
It's expanded now, but the ladder that John climbed up, and there's a spyglass hanging from the ceiling, and you look at it and there's just a tiny word and it's yes.
Yeah.
I didn't climb the ladder, but and the hammer and nail exhibit was in there. He wanted to hammer a nail, and she said 5 shillings. He goes, I'll give you imaginary 5 shillings and a hammer an imaginary nail. And then that's how they hit it off.
Oh.
And that was the show.
Cool.
It was amazing to be there.
Yeah.
It was a great show. It was like I would marry the person who put on this show.
Sure.
She was in a movie. John wanted her there.
Exactly. I totally believe that.
And I don't think she wanted to be there.
You don't think so? It's possible. It's for sure. If he said you can't be here, she wouldn't be there.
Yeah, and if George could have had someone come be with him, I mean, he had the spirit of the band and Bob Dylan with him.
That was his Yoko.
In the sense that that was his emotional trust.
Interesting.
And Linda was there for Paul.
That's right. She was.
And so
she was.
Linda's in the movie.
That's right.
If she didn't want to be in the movie,
But I'm not even talking about that. You understand what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about that this was a major... I'm not even talking about it's Yoko's fault. It's not Yoko's fault. This is a major shift.
Yeah.
Major shift in Lennon's life. He has a metaphorical love affair with this dude, Paul McCartney.
Right.
And there is a person that came between that. And Paul talks about it in Get Back.
Yeah.
And what that did to that battery affects everybody in the band. It's not just between two people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I think you're supposing that there aren't countless other factors besides
You're right.
besides Yoko. Well, I'm thinking of the Ozzy Osbourne autobiography, where and there is a Beatle connection to this directly. When they got together, Black Sabbath, original Black Sabbath, and they found a sound, and then suddenly they lost their guitar player to Jethro Tull. Tony Iommi got offered a huge gig as the guitar player for Jethro Tull to play the Rolling Stones' Rock and Roll Circus. Which John Lennon was in with the Dirty Mac band. the one-off band with him on guitar, Clapton on guitar, Keith Richards on bass, and Mitch Mitchell on the drums. But right after that show, Iommi, fuck this, I'm going back to my group. He went back to Sabbath, and they're like, what are you doing back? You know, what's you were on your way to the fucking big time. And he goes, yeah, I didn't like it. I like this. They were in a pub. It was like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, I couldn't have a laugh with those guys like I can with you guys.
Yeah.
And it was like, he's back, because they weren't going to make it without him. Ozzy and Bill and Giza, they needed Tony, and because he was the best musician in the group.
Yeah.
And he came up with all the riffs.
Right.
He was like,
yeah.
But he didn't want to be in the group because he got to be he got to be the best version of himself that he could be as a guitar player. But the source of the inspiration wasn't like the technical skill of the other guys.
Isn't that
It
interesting?
was the camaraderie, and it was the shared sense of humor, and that's why that's why the Beatles worked.
Exactly, and you see that so much in Get Back.
Yeah.
So much. Even after they have all their riffs, even after that, even after all the, they're laughing so much about things. They're reminiscing about songs, and they're laughing.
Yeah.
So much. It has to be some kind of energy thing that they're feeding off of, like that kind of thing like you're talking about. They're feeding off of each other, making each other laugh is part of the creativity. It's part of the work. It's part of what is making the thing happen.
They were trying to make each other laugh. It was you see, it's actually maybe not as easy as they made it look for all those years.
Yeah.
Because things just got tense, but I still think that Yoko was doing putting herself in the movie the way an avant-garde film actor would. It's like she's just sitting there, distracting everyone. There was an apple on a pedestal, and it was 200 quid or something, and John thought that was hysterical,
Yeah.
But he got that he so I get it. It's just you're paying to watch it decompose. It's great. It's great. It's like found art. You just let the thing speak for itself, and
Yeah.
I want to go back to my Man on Wire comparison, because I found myself in part 3 of Get Back when they finally start going up to the roof.
It's a good comparison.
They're gonna do this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like you've gone through all of this apprehension with them, where they don't even know if they're going to even do a live show, and they're questioning whether or not they're kind of like, we can pull it off. If there's one thing that we can do is we can put on a live show. It was their specialty at one point before they gave it up.
Right. They actually say so. They say something like, the live, when we do it live is when it's going to come alive, or something like that. When the songs are going to come alive.
Yeah.
That's not the right words, but it says something like that. It's like they were betting on it to happen then.
I did. It reminded me at one point of like Stephen Adly Girgis. I don't know if you've ever, had actors who've worked on his plays. Talk about the experience of his last-minute rewrites and things like that. And we're opening tomorrow night. But he's like, it's it's not. That's just like it's never finished. It's never finished.
Mm-hmm.
And what I thought about watching Get Back, like they're really not. They haven't done a complete run through of a lot of these songs, and they have to.
It did feel like
they have
that,
to
didn't
do
it?
them the next day.
Yeah.
Well, I know that they did it because I have the album. I've had it for 30 years.
I'm shocked at how many songs are on the album that were done up there. I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't know that there were roof songs that are on the Let It Be
on
album.
the album, yeah.
I did not know that. It doesn't sound like they're on the roof. You know, does it? I knew they were not like overdubbed to hell, but I didn't think it was the roof songs.
Yeah.
But it is mostly.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah. They did it.
They did it.
They knew what they were. They knew what they were doing. They were craftsmen.
Yeah.
When John's like can't remember the words, they don't stop the song and start over it. They just wait till the next
stanza or whatever.
And then Paul comes in with the harmony, and then they're like. They're not, once they started, they were not sweating the situation, and that's why I thought it was. That's when it really reminded me of Man on Wire, because I was like, this is just like when they were like, oh my God, he's gonna fall off that wire, because they didn't get it as taught.
Right.
This is crazy.
Right.
He's going to go through with this thing, and like the wire might not even be.
Or the policeman is going to come up there and catch him. Yeah.
And what happens? Not only do he was playing with the cops. They're waiting to grab him when he comes back.
Yeah.
And he would turn around and start walking to the South Tower.
Yeah.
And it was like his greatest performance.
Yes.
And he wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah.
And you watched the Beatles on the roof. Once they got over the initial
That's right.
thing,
and George is even turning back on the amplifier after it's turned off.
Yeah, they're like they're making it happen, and then it's kind of weird. Like when the cops do come up onto the roof, you see Paul looking back. He's oh shit, the cops are here, and he gets even more into the performance, and it's like that's just like Man on Wire.
Yeah,
and you're like they did it.
Now, a new segment called Kevin Corrigan Trivia. Are you ready for this? What was the song that was playing in the last scene that you do in the movie Walking and Talking?
I don't know. Is it Billy Bragg?
That is incorrect. You get 2 more guesses.
Oh, God. That was my best guess. Because he's in the opening credits.
Okay. Do you know? Can you hear the song in your head?
No.
When was the last time you saw that movie? What is your memory from that movie? It's a great performance by you.
Filmed on this block.
Really?
There was a video store across the street.
I was going to ask you where that video store was. Literally across the street here on Hudson?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It does feel like down here, yeah. It was a real video store.
It was a real video store, yeah. just like up the block.
Wow.
It
feels like that character is alive somewhere, Kevin, doesn't it? Did you feel that? I feel like that guy is alive somewhere in this city.
Unless he moved out. Unless he couldn't afford the rent anymore.
He very well might have moved, yes.
Yeah.
Couldn't deal with the rent, yeah.
Yeah.
So he moved to Ithaca? You're making a face.
He might have moved to
Staten Island, Bronx,
Long Island. Not Long Island.
Queens, Astoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it would have. Yeah. The song is "Go West" by Liz Phair.
Really? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So you failed your own trivia. So.
Yeah.
Which is probably a good sign. That's probably, if you know everything about your movies that you're in, it's probably a really bad sign.
Well, I know some things that I wish I didn't know about my movies that I'm in. I mean, the thing about Walking and Talking is, for me, musically, the music connection for me is the My Bloody Valentine T-shirt.
Right.
And
legendary.
The music wasn't really the Nicole Collison style.
Right. Right, but that shirt definitely nails this guy, right? That shirt is a great addition. It's you know what I mean, like it precedes you.
Well, Ted Hope was friends with the manager of My Bloody Valentine.
Interesting.
We were able to get, we were able to get clearance to use
amazing.
the shirt.
That just shows you, like, you don't just put on a shirt. You got to get clearance for it. You got to have somebody that knows somebody, because this is an independent film.
Yeah, but it was also, at the time, it was, everything was kind of, the stars were aligned. It was the same kind of creative revolution that was happening in independent film was happening in music. So it was not that much it wasn't really a coincidence at all that, Ted had the connection to the band. Mm-hmm. Ted was a fan also. Mm-hmm. And, there was that kind of aesthetic. I fit into that aesthetic at the time. It wasn't like it wasn't self-conscious. It was from the gut. I really did. That music really did mean something to me.
Yeah.
And there was a melancholy that was inherent in the music that I found inherent to the character I played.
Yeah.
And it kind of helped, in my view, to tell the story of that character. But it didn't say it in the script,
Right.
I had to say, I want to wear this shirt because this is how, I'm identifying with this character, and I think this would be a good touch.
Yeah.
I also had one of my mother's paintings in that movie.
Really?
And they
in your apartment?
in my apartment, yeah. I think initially the production designer didn't want to use it because it wasn't bizarre enough, and they said that this doesn't seem like it's nice and everything, but it doesn't seem like the kind of painting your character would have on the wall. So can I make that decision?
Exactly. I mean, it's like what you want, like a caricature of what this guy would have,
right? Yeah. Something from the Forbidden Planet or something. Because there's already a scene where I take her on a date to Forbidden Planet. Like, I want to put this picture up of it's a picture of the courtyard of my building where I grew up in the Bronx. My mother painted, and I insisted. It was got a little awkward, but they finally were like, okay. And they not only that, but they asked if she had any more paintings that they could use. So there was other paintings that they used 3 of her paintings in Walking and Talking by my mother. And scenes that I wasn't even in.
What keeps you going in this business through all the bullshit that you have to deal with through all of the ways you're treated as an actor? What keeps it worth it?
Well, I wonder sometimes, and in the 3 months that I worked on this, I played like a gangster in this show, right? And it's not the first time I've done that, but it was the most fun I've had in terms of like a wardrobe. I really liked what I got to wear in the movie, and there were times when I had like a really difficult time nailing this one scene that I had. And I like a relative of mine, like a niece, is being threatened, because of some deal that my character's privy to. We're meeting in a back alley and talk about this, and I had to find some kind of rage to play, and it was cold out. It was an outdoor scene, and I the only thing I could think of while the camera was rolling was, God, I wonder if they'll let me keep this suit. I really want to keep these shoes. I hope they let me. They were telling. I had already asked the costume department if I could keep the shoes, and they said it's a rental. They're not going to let. No, basically. But maybe I can talk. Like, that's what was going through my mind. It's like, I love this shirt so much. I really don't want to have to give it back. So yeah, what keeps me interested in acting after all this time? There was a scene with the actual niece, young actress, 12. I don't know if this kid was even a teenager yet, or if she's even a teenager. She had a bigger part in the series than me. She had a lot of work to do, and she was wonderful. Emma, and I had to convince her that everything's going to be all right. She's like, she's a little, reminiscent of a Sopranos kind of thing. Are you in the mob?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to lose you, because in the gangster movies, people always, I was like, yeah. Well, no, you ain't going to lose me. I wanted to be convinced of that a real moment I had in the scene. Like, I wanted to connect with her, and wanted to make her laugh, I had been listening to this interview with Dean Stockwell, and he was talking about what it was like to be a child actor. And I don't think he really liked it. But the way he articulated his, concerns about it in retrospect, and it was a real kind of, eloquent kind of, very, I wanted to I felt like I wanted to talk to the young Dean Stockwell, and say, it's cool, safe. We're doing this thing.
Yeah.
We're just talking. We're just two people talking, and it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
I'm not your manager. I'm not your stage mother. I'm not your agent or your publicist. If you have any of that stuff, I'm not. You don't need to feel any of that kind of pressure from me in this situation. You have to do your, your hour of school, 15 minutes of school before you do, the union rules and stuff. it's a lot of pressure for someone your age, and like I kind of wanted to be one of those grown-ups that she would look back on later and say, I liked him. He was kind of like, he didn't talk down to me or didn't talk to me like I was a kid or something. And I think I made her laugh. I made myself laugh. And I was like, that's not your average Netflix scene. Like that's good material there. The editor's gonna have something kind of authentic to work with there. Some good, and I think I was able to sleep that night thinking that's why I keep doing this. I think that scene will play well. I think it was worth there's always a risk involved with making movies. Now obviously with the we were like COVID tested 3 times a week. The set shut down twice because there was a positive case. But besides all that, it's still kind of you're kind of risking, making yourself vulnerable in the service of this movie or play or whatever. And I hope it's worth it. Meaning, I hope that it ends up being something that the audience will have a visceral reaction to, that can maybe sustain them throughout their lives, create a moment like the scene in Diner that someone out there can love and find an emotional connection with that they might not even find with their own family or something. And they'll just like, that's why, I love the movies, is because that's why I love the Beatles. Because, I don't like anybody here. I don't like anybody. But I love this music, and I feel like it's my friend. And I love to watch, like, Scorsese movie or, Caddyshack or anything, where it's like, I love this performer or this speaker, this podcast host, this actor, because they just make me feel like I'm not totally friendless in this world, in this universe. It's not, it's like finding lightning in a bottle, a needle in a haystack, You might find that moment in the work, and then it'll get cut out of the movie. No one will ever know that moment happened. But if you're just kind of play it straight, the way James Cagney said to, just tell the truth, hit the mark, say like, don't just say it like you mean it, but mean it. And then someone's gonna know you meant it. And it's going to connect with that part of them that wants to speak the truth, and at least hear someone else speak the truth and go, yeah, what he said. That's how I feel.
Kevin Corrigan, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I appreciate you keep coming back. And let's make it a holiday tradition every year. Kevin Corrigan at the holidays is a good thing.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Back to One is a production of Filmmaker Magazine, which is a publication of The Gotham, formerly IFP. Listen to back episodes of this podcast at filmmakermagazine.com or wherever you get your podcasts.